Life is not about the big choices that you make, but it's the small cumulative choices that you make that often leads to the bigger choices. One of the greatest power that any believer in this world can have is to have power over themselves, to have power over your emotions, to have power over your choices, to have power over your feelings. And this is quite important because so many times we are faced with situations where we do not have control over the outcome. I think your friend might do something to you that you do not have control over. They will say something to you, they will behave in a certain way that I think you do not have control over what they will say, you do not have control over what they will do. But the one control that you have is what you do towards that situation, how you respond to it. And having control over yourself means that you always respond to it in a way that God wants you to respond to it. And one such way that we have power over ourselves is by having power over our choices, because choices are these small things that we do and sometimes the big things that we decide on, and most times most of these choices is made subconsciously. I think without even you knowing about it, you've already made choices on certain things. And today I would love to talk to you in that part of the subconscious choices that we make, that these choices are very important because they inform vast majority of the other choices that we make. I think the way, the perception you have about certain things, this perception have come because of the subconscious, I think, information that has given it. So it's very important that you have control over that subconscious choices that you make. And one way that we have control over the subconscious way that I think the subconscious choices that we make, it's by training it the right way, because the subconscious learns, and it learns from the experiences that is given it. It learns from the experiences that it is surrounds it. And one way that it learns is that when you feed it with something and it's fed for the first time or it's fed repetitively, then it respects that, I think, that step that you have taken, and every time it will start to, I think, to reflect that very thing that you have done. For example, they will tell you in fear that how we learn to fear. I think one time they did an experiment where they put snakes with babies, and I think these were harmless snakes. They put them with babies and they were just playing naturally. I think they didn't fear, I think, because the fear of snake was not yet built in them. But once they start to see how people start to reacting to snakes, I think when they see a snake and they start running, they start thinking that, okay, you know what, a snake might be bad. So that subconscious is being trained, and it's the same way with you as a child of God, that you can start to train your subconscious in a way that you start to be deliberate with how you react to certain situations. I think, for example, if a sister talks bad about you, how are you going to react? That first reaction, I think. And sometimes you start to put in a way that you're very calculative on how you react it. You're very contemplative on how you react to it. I think instead of just talking back to them, you first hold your peace. You first hold your breath. So you know what? Okay, what am I going to? What should I do? Start to be calculative on that aspect, and then you respond in a way that God would love you to respond. So that in a way that you're training your subconscious to respond to the things that surrounds you in a way that God would want you to respond to them. And by that, you start to see that your subconscious will start to align and put itself in a way that every time the choices that we'll make, I think, because most of the choices, about 80% of the choices that we make, it's out of the subconscious mind. And then once we have control over that, it means that every time these small choices that we make will be from a way and from a point that is godly, I think, because our subconscious has been trained to react to situations, to react to circumstance in a godly and in a way that will please Him, I think. So that's very important. And by you having control over your subconscious means that you have control over the vast majority of the choices that you make. And the small choices are the ones that matter most, because life is not about the big choices that you make, but it's the small cumulative choices that you make that often leads to the bigger choices. I think, for example, your choice of partner, I think you might just say, oh, I chose this person because I think, no, it's out of the small choices that you had made. For example, your lists, I think sometimes people have these long lists, and those lists, it's what will portray that when we look at someone that we like, do they meet this list? And this list has come from a certain choice that we think that if someone talks like this, then they must be a good person. And now did we form that information? It's out of the subconscious, because we have interacted with people. We know this is the thing that is right. Our subconscious has been trained. So every time we see someone behave in a way that is not right to that, then we say, oh, this person is not for me. So that's briefly what I want to share with you. I hope something has blessed you, and hope to see you next time. My name is Simon, and if you haven't subscribed, I think this is the right time to do so. So thank you so much. Hope to see you next time. God bless you. Shalom.